Have chromosomes in your body that determine your sex.
Yeah, that's sex, not gender.
There is no difference between the two. A woman is defined as an adult human female.
Oh, well, to you, I guess.
No, according to Oxford, the most reputable dictionary in the English language.
I mean, the English language has been adapted over the millennia. Shakespeare made up a bunch of stuff, and definitions change over time, so...
Okay, well, the definitions haven't changed.
I mean, if you want to be restrictive about it, then, like, you can have fun in, like, this weird setup you have, but I'm having fun without a gender, so have a good day.
That's cool. You have a gender.
Yeah. I don't have like a particular like connection with this issue at all. I don't like to restrict people from expressing themselves, and I think that when it comes to transgender issues, like these are people that kind of just like identify themselves as in a certain way in society, and of course we can get into why that is. But I think I don't want to like straw man anything from your perspective, but are you going to argue that like it's bad for society for men to view themselves as women because of like traditional roles of masculinity and femininity are better for society?
No, it has nothing to do with traditional roles of masculinity, femininity. And to your point, I also don't want to restrict people from dressing how they want or expressing themselves how they want. I think it's bad for society because I think when we start touting something that is objectively false as a truth, I think that is a net negative for society, and I think we open up the door to a lot of other things being viewed as true or false when they are the opposite. I think it's also dangerous for women in women's sports. I think it's dangerous for women in women's bathrooms, and I think it's dangerous for it to be written into law that women can be men or men can be women. That's my main bone to pick. I don't think that men can really be women. I think they can pretend to be women, but I don't think they can actually be women.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I think that's where I'd like to make the distinction between gender and sex. So of course, like in terms of sex, men and women are not the same. And I might even agree, I'm not really sure, but I might even agree that in terms of sports, like in some capacity, you need to make that distinction in order to make like fair separation based on physical attributes that may remain despite the transition process. But I think that the state, I don't like the idea of the state regulating how people like identify themselves as like in the sense of gender, man or woman, because I'm not convinced that there's like a specific and concrete like process that causes people to transition at some point in their life. That can be like we can say, oh, just avoid this kind of trauma, like or like process that causes people. I think there's just certain people are born with like the potential to like have a misalignment between their sex and how they feel as a person.
I think sex and gender are inextricably linked. I think generally most people think that woman or man are gendered terms and then male and female are sex terms. But the definition of a woman is an adult human female, and then female, the definition is a person who falls in the sexual category capable of bearing children and producing ova. So I think you can't be a woman without being a female, and being a female would make you a woman. So I don't think there's any important difference there. I also agree with you that I don't think the state should be regulating how people behave. I don't think the state should be saying you can't wear a dress if you're a man. I don't think they should be saying you can't wear a t-shirt if you're a girl. I think that adults should be able to dress however they want and whatever. But I don't think that because you pretend to be a woman, that should give you a license to go into women's bathrooms or go into women's sports and potentially harm them or strip accolades from women. Like Leah Thomas, for example, every record that Leah/William Thomas competed for at the University of Pennsylvania, he broke all of those records and stripped the records from actual women. He won the NCAA championship as a woman and stripped it from Riley Gaines. So in that respect, I think that there needs to be some restriction, but I don't support the state controlling how people dress and stuff like that.
Okay, yeah, that makes a lot of sense, and I think we have more agreement than I might have thought. I would just say that culturally, as like a country, and in certain areas where traditional values, so to speak, might uphold like narratives about like dangers of expressing yourself a certain way, should be definitely pushed against. And I'm not sure how I feel about like the state. I'm not sure about like the specific issues of like gender and bathrooms. Like, I don't necessarily disagree on that at all. So yeah, I think we have more agreement than I thought.
Good. Yeah, sure. Yeah, like I said, I think you can dress however you want. My main quarrels are just with it is an objective truth that men can't be women. Men shouldn't be allowed in women's spaces, like bathrooms and stuff like that. And also, I don't think children should be allowed to transition because we don't allow children to do virtually anything else. Tattoos, gamble, tobacco, alcohol, drive, vote.
Yeah, that's another complex one that I don't really know about. But I would say that, like, culturally, like, do you think that men, or like biological men, do you think we should respect their pronouns if they want to transition to a woman and call them she, her?
I think it's up to individual persons. I think that if somebody wants to respect somebody's pronouns, I think that's fine if they want to do that. If they don't want to do that, I think that's fine too. My thing is, like, I don't care. I'll call you whatever you want if you're respectful to me. If I accidentally call you something that you're not, or that you're claiming you're not because you look like a man, and I call you sir or something, and you freak out on me, now it's off the table. I'm calling you whatever you don't want to be called on purpose. So I think it just depends.
Totally understand. I think that we should always respect how people want to be called. But yeah, I totally understand that point. And I think it enables people to express themselves fully and therefore experience freedom as everyone else would.
I think it depends too. Like if it's a political thing, like if you're doing it as like a very clear political thing, that's also a problem for me too. And I'm not going to respect them because, like, if you came up to me and said I'm a lizard, I'm not going to call you a lizard. And I actually had a discussion with somebody on this campus who said that a grocery store grocer who does not refer to somebody by their desired pronouns should be fired in all cases. And I said, well, I think that should be up to the grocery store.
It's just not fair.
They should make the policy.
Like if they don't know the pronoun, it's not fair.
Yeah, well, I mean, even if they do, it's like, I think that should be a policy that's set up by the grocery store. I don't think it should. They said it should be law. They should be spoken to, and if they keep doing it, they should be fired. And I said, well, what if I go to the grocery store and I say he has to call me a lizard? And she said, well, then he should call you a lizard. And I said, should be fired if he doesn't call me a lizard? She said, yes. And it's like, well, it's just, I'm not a lizard. Like, okay. You know, and if somebody told me to call them a lizard, I wouldn't do it.
Okay, so I guess I'm less concerned with the policy that would be enforced there because I don't really know enough. But I would argue that in society we should make it so that that's not really like an issue, and that people like are just called by what they want to be called. And but I agree with you, like it's people make mistakes and we don't need to slander and overreact, so to speak.
Sure.
I had another point that I'm kind of forgetting. I don't know if you have anything else to say.
Whatever you have, if you can think of it, then
yeah.
talk about it.
I kind of just forgot.
No worries.
But yeah, no, my overarching point is like, as a society, I don't think we should reject how people want to express themselves when there's a potential misalignment between their sex and how they feel in their mind, because ultimately we all want to live the same lives in terms of freedom and expression. So yeah, thank you, appreciate you.
Yeah. Have a good one, man.
Yeah, you too.